Today at Westwall, we're going to talk about choosing the right fly rod. You know, every day people walk in our door looking for a fly rod, looking for their first fly rod, their next fly rod, whatever it may be. First thing we see people do, they grab a fly rod and they shake it. What that does, I'm not real sure. You can't tell anything from shaking a fly rod. Number one rule on choosing a fly rod is you need to cast it. You need to put a reel on it, put some line on it, get out in the parking lot and cast it. You wouldn't buy a pair of shoes without trying them on. You wouldn't buy a car without test driving it. You shouldn't buy a fly rod without casting it. But to help you make your choice and to maybe answer some questions for you, I'm going to kind of explain different rods and different actions as it relates to you as a caster. Today's rods, and today we're going to talk about 8 weights. Okay, we've got rods from 3 weights to 12 weights here. We're going to talk about 8 weights because that's our most popular rod in our area. That's your kind of a do everything rod for snook, redfish, trout, you know, even baby tarpon. So slower action fly rods, like this is a TFO Signature Series 2. Okay, it's not real fast. Now when I say fast, the speed of a rod is how fast it comes back to center after the rod's loaded. Okay, so the rod in a cast, the rod bends backwards, comes back to center, and bends forward in the back cast. Okay, everybody in fly shops are very bad about doing this because they want to sell expensive rods. Most expensive high-end fly rods like the Loomis NRX, for example, are fast. Everybody wants to sell these rods because it's an $805 fly rod. That rod I just had is a $134 fly rod. Problem is, new casters, these fast fly rods hurt you because your timing's not correct, you're out of time, it ends up hurting you. You need to load a rod. You can't cast a fly rod without the rod loading. So if you're out of time, this rod doesn't load, you're waving a straight stick. That doesn't help. So if you're a new caster, you need to go towards slower action rods like the TFO Signature Series. The new, well, it's not really new, but the TFO Mangrove is a great rod for a beginner, which also happens to be one of my favorite rods. I still use this rod in a 6 weight all the time. Okay, it's a $300 rod, or $280, I'm sorry. It is very forgiving. Flip Pallet helped TFO design this rod to be a guides rod so that anybody that gets on a boat can cast this rod. That being said, they did a good job. It works very well. I have customers that can, first time casters that can cast this rod very well, and I still cast this rod very well. Not that I'm the best caster in the world, but I still like that rod. Then you have the St. Croix Imperial. Same thing, $260 rod. A little faster than the Mangrove. This rod is a very underrated rod. A lot of people don't give this rod a chance. I was bad about that myself when we first got them. I was like, I don't know about that thing. I've spent some time casting it. Very nice rod. As a matter of fact, here's some footage of me using this Imperial to catch a few redfish. Wanted to go test the rod out. Caught, I think, 3 redfish that morning on it. Love the rod. Great rod for the money. Say that you need a faster rod like the NRX. The main thing is come in, try the rods before you buy one. And more times than not, the expensive rod isn't the best rod for you. And that's your tip from Westwall today. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more tips. Thank you.